What if I told you a truck driver cracked the code to building a crypto empire? Meet Bitcoin Ben. He went from driving 18-wheelers to creating 6 different ways for regular people to stack Bitcoin and build wealth. This isn't just another crypto course. This is a complete ecosystem where you earn while you learn. First up, the confidential bulk purchase program. Get Bitcoin at wholesale prices through group buying power. Then there's Home to HODL. Convert your home equity directly into Bitcoin instead of cash. Need funding? The Loans for Bitcoin program gets you the capital to buy more crypto. Want passive income? Private Key Capital puts your Bitcoin to work. Hungry for something different? Bitcoin Ben's tokenized beef lets you invest in real cattle backed by blockchain technology. And if you want to mine? Bitcoin Ben's mining program gets you started with the right equipment and knowledge. But here's the kicker. Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club pays you to learn. Earn 10% on direct referrals, 5% on second level, 2% on third level. This might be the only membership where you make more than you pay. Ben went from 10 years behind the wheel to becoming the world's most unlikely crypto expert. Now he's sharing everything through live training, community events, and proven systems that work. Ready to stop watching from the sidelines? Join Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club today and start stacking sats while building your financial future. Your truck driving days are over. Your crypto empire starts now.
Good morning, everybody. It's your favorite truck driver in the whole wide world, ex-truck driver in the whole wide world. It's Bitcoin Ben here on my way back to Florida. Pardon me. Okay, today, guys and gals, it's reaching a point. I have had several communications with people in the know that are more in the know than me. There are so many wealthy people who are and countries, Middle East, China, don't let them fool you. They are accumulating Bitcoin. They're doing it slowly, though. You have to realize that we're at a place where this is what everyone needs to kind of wrap their heads around. If we jump from 110 or wherever we're at, if we jump from 110 to $200,000 per Bitcoin, that is the equivalent of productivity of currency. That's where they're producing currency. Every time that the price rises, the dollars, the market cap, there isn't a bank that holds all of that cash in an account. There is no actual there ain't no bank that holds all of the Bitcoin cash. And I don't mean Bitcoin cash as in, Bitcoin Cash. So what that is it is a dollar representation of unrealized capital. So that amount doesn't show up in M1 or M2. If everyone who held actual Bitcoin, let's say you have $100 million worth of Bitcoin, you're 100 millionaire, and you go to the bank and you sell your $100 million worth of Bitcoin, that doesn't mean $100 million $1 bills are created like instantly. No. We have inflation, all right? Inflation is the available amount of cash that you can go out and go shopping with. If we run up super quick, and that's what the elites are worried about, because this is why I say you guys win. If you hodl, you will win. That's the key, right? Because what they're doing is they're actually trying to accumulate as much of the Bitcoin so that when it does launch, it's in the hands of those who won't sell it. Because if they sell it, that is instant creation of dollars, which they're worried about inflation. They're not worried about the price rising. If it rose and no one sold, not a problem. But this is an amplifier. That's exactly what Bitcoin is. It amplifies value. Remember, every $1 that the price goes up, the market cap goes up approximately 19 million. So for $1, if I hop on whatever app or whatever, and I actually raise the price $1, that $1 magically creates $19 million. It's an amplifier. It's an economic, well, it's more of a monetary amplifier. That's why Trump is doing what he's doing. It's the same thing with actual gold, except we all know that gold isn't limited at all. Now, the key is realizing the rollout. The elites, and this happened in the 1800s with the gold rush. They suppressed the price of gold because so many little people were getting gold. They're like, well, because of the gold rush. The gold rush hyperinflated the amount of gold that was available at the time. And the elites just used the rushers, the miners of the gold. They let them head out and actually do the labor of collecting it. And then a lot of elites set up towns and they would swap out the gold for hookers or alcohol or whiskey or hell, even like playing poker, because they were setting up for and accumulating wealth. That's exactly what the elites are actually doing right now. Every one of us who own a little bit of Bitcoin, we got that from a miner. And what they're doing is they are printing up a bunch of dollars, digitizing the dollars, and they are going to print so much more because of exactly what I said. They have to print a ton of U.S. stable coins to align with the value of the the assets in which is used to purchase using all of these coins. So have no fear. The system is being set up because remember, we're moving away from the paper dollars to the digital dollars for a reason, because we're entering into a whole new world. All right, I have a couple of videos I want you guys to watch with me. We have to remember where we're at in the moment in time. Everyone who's like, oh, you know, Bitcoin's no big deal at all. That's why Trump said the Bitcoin is the new oil, because it is the monetary asset of the future economy. Because the future economy cannot actually be reliant on a reserve that isn't locked in, that doesn't have a fixed supply, because then you're at the whims of just any type of government. They're like, oh, we'll just print up some more currency, and now that it's going digital, it will be even easier. I mean, look at Tether. We've all seen it on X. Tether prints $1 trillion worth of Tether, or $100 billion worth of Tether. They didn't print jack shit. That was created. That's digital. Creating those costs them less than a penny. Think about that. They create $100 billion worth of Tether. That all of those cost them about a penny worth of electricity to create all of them. Folks, in a system like that, where you have Chinese digital currency, you have America digital currency, you have Australia digital currency, you have France digital currency. All of these digital currencies are just, they're easy to create. They don't even have to have a mint. Think about this. They don't have to have a mint anymore. Now, they will for a while. They'll print up the regular dollars that you hold in your wallet just to keep all of the old people happy, like me, who actually carry a little cash on them. And this is absolutely an incredible point in history. Guys, I'm going to show you this, and I just want you to wrap your heads around how close we are and how quickly we are moving into a whole different world. Hold, please.
Billions, tens of billions, hundreds of billions of robots of all shapes, sizes, descriptions running around doing all kinds of things.
Digitizing the physical world.
Robotics is going to be the biggest industry in the history of the planet. There's going to be billions, tens of billions, hundreds of billions of robots of all shapes, sizes, descriptions running around doing all kinds of things.
Digitizing the physical world is probably one of the most exciting things about the physical world. It's just a physical manifestation of the AI wave.
We can run robots very fast through ditches, potentially break the robot, and then have a field team which is able to come out there and repair the robot faster than we can make changes to the software.
I am tired, Joe, of living in a biological body. I want robot arms. Do you want to build a company out of your garage with a wrench? Or do you want like 5 hyper-intelligent robotic assistants that are like, what do you want? Let's help you build it.
you've all probably seen, Elon has this Optimus robot that he's building, these humanoid robots. Like the general purpose robotics thing is going to happen, and it's going to happen in the next decade, and it's going to happen at giant scale. And I think there's a plausible argument, which Elon also believes, that robotics is going to be the biggest industry in the history of the planet. It's going to be gigantic. There's going to be billions, tens of billions, hundreds of billions of robots of all shapes, sizes, descriptions running around doing all kinds of things. Those robots need to get designed and built, right? And so my view is, we don't try to get the old manufacturing jobs back. What we should do is lean hard into the manufacturing jobs of the future, which is designing and building all of these new things, right? By the way, which includes drones and cars, right? And robots. And we shouldn't be building manufacturing lines that have people sitting on a rubber mat for 10 hours screwing screws in by hand, but we should be building, what Elon calls them alien dreadnought factories, right? Which is like these super sophisticated factories with like tons of robotics. But you can imagine thousands and thousands of different categories of industrial production that have to happen all across the US in order to make this happen. And would cause just like enormous economic growth throughout the country. We get a huge payoff from all the tech investment that the coasts are making, but we generate many tens or hundreds of millions of jobs in the countryside. And then the U.S. would lead, it would be the third industrial or fourth industrial revolution. We would lead in the development of all these new things. And then you get to the national security side of this, which is if you don't do this, you're living in a world of Chinese robots everywhere. And that has, very profound consequences for, let's just say, profound consequences.
And it's an important policy point. And I want to dig into this a little bit more. I was just in an interview up there, like, aren't we going to destroy tens of millions of jobs? Isn't AI scary? A lot of people are very scared right now with the disruption. I'm very excited about the higher productivity because I see it being disinflationary. I see it creating more jobs. How do we, if assuming we're aligned, how do we explain this to people? How do we explain this is actually a really good thing for the country? Because a lot of Luddites are going to attack this. They are going to try to stop it.
Yeah, so the Luddites are wrong. The neo-Luddites are wrong. They're wrong in the sense of like for the reason they've always been wrong, which is the reality is we have not in the last 50 years been in an era of fast productivity growth, technological change. We've been in an area of slow productivity change, slow economic growth. AI, if it works the way that actually people either hope or fear that it's going to work, it's going to cause productivity growth to shoot up. That will naturally accelerate economic growth. But look, if it just stays as software, then the result of that is it's going to make the cities much better off, right? It's going to make San Francisco and LA and New York much better off and Austin much better off. But it's still not going to answer this question of what happens in the countryside. To answer the question of what happens in the countryside, you need to get to the next thing. You need to make AI hardware as well as software, and you're right back to that same prescription of basically reindustrializing the country. And again, not reindustrializing the country on the stuff that has already left, reindustrializing the country based on all the things that have to be invented and built. And it's just like we know. I'm just like incredibly highly confident that there's going to be these giant industries of computerized everything, AI powered all kinds of hardware of all kinds of shapes, sizes to descriptions. You're funding a lot of that kind of thing. I'm funding a lot of that kind of thing. I mean, look, the entire defense base has to get rebuilt around this.
We're gonna redo the manufacturing. We're gonna build roads and tunnels and everything cheaper. It's gonna be exciting.
Yeah. And so this is the thing this is the thing to do. Like to me, the path on this is very clear because we have to do this because it's necessary from a national security standpoint. We have to do it because we need it. We need the economic growth. We have to do it because we need an answer for the entire population of the country, not just the cities. And we have to do it because if we don't do it, China's going to do it, and we don't want to live in that world.
We have a lot of entrepreneurs in the audience. Where do you see the biggest potential for startups around all this stuff that you're involved in, fitness tech, nutrition, medical devices? Yeah. Assuming AI is not completely changing everything right away, we have some more years to build some companies. So like, what are the opportunities?
I think that after AI revolutionizes everything, we have even much bigger ability to build those companies.
I love that answer.
It's a positive. Like, do you want to build a company out of your fucking garage with a wrench? Or do you want like 5 hyper intelligent robotic assistants that are like, hey, like, what do you want? Let's help you build it. Like, can you imagine like a man of your intelligence, if I could just clone you and have me as like, you'll be on my board of my companies? Like, why the hell wouldn't I do it? I just can't afford a billionaire to be on my shit. If I have robots like you running around in a few years, oh my God, like the world becomes unrecognizable. To that effect, we still have biological humans with biological problems. Short of genetic engineering, just turning all of us into perfect angels and then us uploading our brains into the cloud, living there forever, Ray Kurzweil style, which I'm super down with. I think that's inevitable. A little crazy, I know. Healthy, super tasty, super filling snack foods. Right now, if you want a snack food, it's just going to be total shit unless it's a protein bar that tastes like also total shit. Yeah. Genius Shot is a step in the right direction. It's cool. It's not filling, but it's really healthy and it's really good for you. Imagine having candy bars that through advanced biotech are gigantic, taste amazing, and are really filling, but have perfect macronutrients and micronutrient profile. It is possible. Anyone who's getting into the space is going to see just a lot of huge upsides. So once people are getting over the obesity thing with the modern obesity drugs, well, Joe, they still need to eat food, and maybe they don't want to eat total junk. Another big upside, I think, is revolutionizing. What is it like the entrepreneur thing to say here? An industry rife for disruption, right? Am I doing that? Yeah, I'm an entrepreneur. See? The exercise machine world. Exercise machines like leg presses and hack squats, they're like the biggest revolution for those was in the 80s, and they've to some extent have arguably gotten worse since then.
Yeah, they're expensive and they're not very good for
gigantic, way too much metal. If anyone is listening to this and you're an entrepreneur and you want to get in, if you have an engineering background, if you have a manufacturing background, 3D printing background, legit, please hit me up, because we're probably starting something soon here in a bit. I have the know-how.
I'd love to invest in that. That sounds smart.
There you go.
Let's do it.
We'll talk later. See, here's the thing. If I don't get to this problem and someone solves it before me, good, thank God. I will rep your machines on my YouTube channel. Please, for love of God. That's a huge one. My last one, I have to throw this in there. I'd feel bad about it. Cybernetics. Now, this is real wacky, but the problem with this arm is it's cool. It's nice. And if we solve its aging, and if I reverse age to 22, I'll have jacked arms and they're quite capable. But software and hardware advance at exponential machine speeds. Biology in humans advances at evolutionary speeds of like every 100,000 years, you get a little bit of a difference. I am tired, Joe, of living in a biological body. I want robot arms. God damn it. The way I think this industry is going to progress.
You've explored, by the way, the limits of a body more than most people, I guess. So it's fair for you to feel this way.
For sure. Yeah, like just lift more. Like, what do you mean lift more? It's all I do with my time. So if you have a situation, I think it's going to start with amputees and some of the stuff like Elon and his teams are doing with like brain machine interface. It's actually a tractable problem now, which is so crazy to see in 2025, that the impulses of your nerves can be completely understood by a machine interface, so that you can eventually have an arm, probably in just a few years, that if you get your arm lobbed off in an industrial accident or a chronic masturbation problem, something I struggle with, then what happens is right now they give you an arm that like is cool, looks sort of aesthetic, but kind of sucks.
Yeah.
In a few years, it's going to be amazing. But here's the real kicker. A few years later, people who have lost their arms through amputation, for example, or their legs, their replacement parts will be better than biological parts.
Better arms.
Just better. And so at that point, I'm kind of like looking at a hacksaw, looking at I'm tying myself off and going, here we go. I got to get Medicare to pay for this. But for all serious purposes, the cybernetic revolution, I think, is going to be massive. Eventually, humans can just be, first of all, safer in the world. Here's the thing. Right now I get into a car, and let's say it's a self-driving car. Thank God for Elon. And the probability of an accident is tiny, but there's still drunk, stupid people on the road. They sideswipe me. I'm very soft by machine force standards. Yes. Like, I don't care how jacked I am. 70 miles an hour is going to do some fun, omelet type of things to my body. Yeah. If I can be in a body that is cyber enhanced, and I can have parts of my skull or the whole thing augmented with really like profoundly strong metals and auto stabilizers, I get into a car accident, bounce around on the freeway, wake up. Oh, my arm's missing. Who cares? Get it replaced. Keep going. That's the world I want to live in, man. I'm tired of being a meat sack.
Building off-road ground autonomy seems like an extremely difficult challenge because you don't have the same massive data sets, right? All these other car companies doing self-driving, there's these annoying cars that were driving around Silicon Valley for a decade, and they're kind of funny because if you try to pull in front of them, they'd have to stop because it'd block everyone. But these things are driving around forever gathering data, and they had so much data that I'm told that eventually was able to be key in training the models. You're going to have different environments every time. It's never going to be quite the same with the land. I mean, is it also just a massive data problem, or what else are you doing for this?
It's extremely challenging. So a lot of robotics, and in particular field robotics, is essentially a combination of relying on your knowledge of physics and the environment and data. So you're using machine learning in the perception system in order to try to predict what the terrain looks like. Let's say, behind trees or underneath vegetation, you're trying to predict areas that you can drive through and areas that you can't.
You have to guess like how strong the ground is, I imagine, right? Because some ground's going to slip away and some ground's not, right?
Well, you have to contend with that somehow, and that can be very difficult because it can be hard to tell from a distance. And so, you can only really do as well as a human driver trying to do something similar. And often what we'll do is, if we are moving into terrain, which is a little bit surprising, our planning and control systems adjust instantaneously to try to either get traction or, find a different way through the terrain.
Is there ever something, it's a silly idea, but if there was something that was complicated, would you ever like send ahead a drone to look at something to make sure? Because you're like, oh, I don't know what this looks like there.
Well, that's a great question. It's actually not a silly idea. I mean, I think that a lot of folks are thinking about things like this. So, combining different types of robotic assets, whether they're like UAVs or ground vehicles, and, using the sensors on drones to provide a better picture of the environment, which will then, help the ground vehicle to move through the environment more effectively.
Awesome. And some of these vehicles, they're going 30 miles an hour, going around ditches and fallen trees and boulders. Is that kind of stuff?
That's right. Yeah, we've actually gone up to about 35 miles an hour on a pretty wide variety of terrain. So this includes off-road terrain, so pure cross country where there's no roads at all, but we also go through double track and dirt roads. So they're pretty high rates of speed for terrain, which is very difficult.
And what's your, if we could ask, obviously it's secret, but what's your secret sauce? And you don't like to say you won the competition, but you're the only one left. Everyone I've talked to, I can say it for you. Everyone I've talked to in the DoD, has said really great things and is really excited. You guys are the best, they say. So, you're iterating multiple times per week with software and hardware, different environments. Like how come you got to be the best?
Yeah, so I think you are starting to kind of hit on some of our secret sauce, and I don't mind saying it because it's a hard system to replicate. So basically, one of the things about robotics is it's basically software and hardware working together, and then field robotics and robotics in some of the domains that we're talking about requires that software and hardware to work really well in complex environments. People who are just kind of starting work in robotics often think that you can just do things in simulation, but they quickly learn that it is really important to actually run your software on the robot, and then, especially in field robotics, run that robot in the terrain.
So just learn quickly a lot.
Yeah, and so for us, we just kind of getting back to the secret sauce. We started out by building an extremely capable mechanical engineering and field team that allowed us to put robots in the field all the time, to iterate in the field with our software, and crucially to make mistakes. And so we can run robots very fast through ditches, potentially break the robot, and then have a field team which is able to come out there and repair the robot faster than we can make changes to the software. So this allows us to iterate just over and over in a wide variety of terrain, and just learn a lot about that coupling between software and hardware and terrain, and then take those learnings and build better software and better hardware. And so that really is the secret sauce, that continuous field testing, and that sort of field forward, that kind of way of thinking about the problem.
I love it. Well, having a top engineering culture that iterates quickly is similar to how Palantir and other companies work. So you guys, a lot of the top talent in the world, obviously crush these problems at Waymo. It's everyone's seeing what it's starting to do now. It's amazing. And you decide to move into construction and starting with excavators for the real world. So how do you make that shift? Why did you found Bedrock?
Yeah, so part of it was really appreciating how incredible those scalability capabilities we just talked about were, where you start with a beachhead, in Waymo's case was San Francisco, and now you have this flywheel where you're adding new capabilities, new geographies, new platforms, and setting aside the complexity of the public road driving domain, the generalization actually really works well. We saw an opportunity to apply that to a space that never had that type of approach in it, which is automation of specialized heavy machinery. And construction was a especially exciting place to start, where you have large numbers of machine types. They're all in these slow-moving, semi-controlled environments. You have astronomical amounts of work that needs to be done. You have an industry that fundamentally has these astronomical tailwinds where manufacturing has to be built at massive scale. You have onshoring of manufacturing, reindustrialization. Infrastructure is going through a refresh cycle where you have to repave giant amounts of roads. You have housing shortages. You have energy. So you have this huge demands. At the same time, labor is going the opposite direction, where you're seeing the average age go above 50. Up to 40% of construction workers are retiring in the next 10 years. And so you have this crisis level pain in this industry that's about double-digit percentages of our GDP. And it's a perfect problem for autonomy to help really diffuse some of these kind of constraints that are holding it back, and it's genuinely supply constrained. And it has this very similar properties where you have a lot of different types of machines doing very diverse types of work, but you have pockets of incredible volume of work that needs to be done that is incredibly well suited for learning and automation.
A lot of it's very repeatable, I guess. So it seems like in some places it's easier and in some places it's harder, right? So the thing that seems maybe easier to me is you're not driving with like tons of other cars around. There's safety still a problem, but it seems like maybe not as
way more controllable.
You can iterate a lot more of something by itself practicing. So it's like probably easier and cheaper to iterate and learn.
Yeah.
One thing that seems a lot harder to me is you're like moving on very uneven ground and weird hills and things which you don't encounter. And then you also have like an excavator where like maybe in some cases it hits dirt, some cases it hits rock, some cases it hits something that slips, everything moves. Like, so you have to like model all sorts of different things here.
Yeah, there's some gives and takes. So on the easier side, these are actually very, very significant where you can't launch a robo-taxi as a legitimate product until you solve 100% of San Francisco. We can actually be very surgical on the product kind of categories and mixes of machines and capabilities and become incredibly competent at a certain type of work, for example, heavy earthwork for an excavator. And that has astronomical amounts of value. It's one of the most capable machines, one of the highest volume machines and highest utilized, and it's the hardest to learn. And there's jobs where that's all they do for a year, moving gigantic.
Just for a year, just moving things. So
setting a foundation of a factory, right?
So construction is like $2 trillion industry. Excavators might be some like, it's like 100 billion.
Yeah. So the way to think about it is that there's 1.25 billion hours of operator time operating these heavy machines just in the US. So 1.25 billion hours a year.
Wow.
That's massively constrained because there's giant amounts of jobs that just don't pencil out, and everybody has shortages, and every general contractor we talk to is turning down work that they can't handle. And so, and that's just one foundation. There was a study we saw that there's something like $120 billion of excavation contracts per year in the US. Now this is everything, right? Like, but, and excavators we're seeing are oftentimes like 25-30% of fleets. And so the fact that you can isolate the product side is a huge value add. Safety, you have a very slow moving semi-controlled environment. So the interactions that are at the core of the complexity for qualifying a vehicle on a public road, you now can actually have a much more controlled problem that for a variety of reasons, we actually can chop off a giant percentage of the complexity of safety. And the hundreds of millions of dollars it would take to reinvent a vehicle platform for public road safe driving, these machines are actually beautifully designed to where we can retrofit existing machines and go to market without a vehicle.
So you would take like something like a Caterpillar machine or whatever and just like put stuff on it and go.
That's right. Sensors, compute, and now the machine becomes autonomously capable for the situations it's cleared for. That surface area increases through software updates over time, and it can still be manually operated. And the product becomes the digital operator and the driver of these machines and all the services that you can kind of get beyond it. And so there you can actually start to gradually get that beachhead, and then you use this flywheel to add new capabilities, demolition, material handling, other more nuanced tasks, new machines like wheel loaders, motor graders, compactors, new types of work, and you start that expansion, but you can start getting a really genuine business from the very beginning.
Tell us about some of the problems with excavating. I'm just curious, like what's the tech stack look like for when you're digging and it's going to have different types of ground? Does it learn over time about the ground from looking at it, from digging it? Like, can you tell what's going to happen? Like, does the experienced operator know, watch out, this is going to slip, and you have to learn that too? Like, how does it work?
So there's maybe like two really big buckets of things that are super different and challenging about this. So one is the fact that you're like manipulating the world and you have these like interesting weird dynamics. The second is the interface on how you actually define it. So on the first one, you're totally right. There's this physics where you're cutting through earth. Clay is different than different types of soil. You have rocks, you have like pipes, you have all these different things.
And if you screw up, you're just going to fall into it probably.
So there's actually some pretty bad things that can happen. And so that's actually like pretty modelable. You can you see the terrain model of everything. You can model the physics, what safe orientations you can be on. The harder part is probably what is inside the earth and how do you actually kind of...
The pipe being there that you destroy.
Yeah, the pipe, the rock, how do you not fight against it? How do you not cut fiber to DFW, right? Like, so apparently that's like, somebody told us it's like $1 million every few minutes when you cut that line or something.
Don't cut that line.
Don't cut that line. So there's like, they'll have a guy to just make sure you don't cut that line. So anyways, so there's stuff like that. But when you think about the interaction of the soil modeling problem, what's interesting here is that you can treat like the broader problem as like a giant scale imitation learning problem where like you're learning from expert kind of demonstration and you're learning the nuances of how to interpret this like kitchen sink of everything that's happening through massive scale data and picking up these nuances of how does this actually, how would you actually navigate these challenges? Very similar to how in a way we can kind of learn from human demonstration how you navigate the kitchen sink of stuff that's on a public road. And so in some ways the fight against the earth and everything, there's an element of that you just directly learn because you see how people react to it. And the sensor data you're collecting is not just the data from the top of the machine. We're actually seeing all the signals inside the machine that give you kind of the pressure gauges, the IMUs, the resistance. You feel that resistance and the fact that you're not moving as much as you could. And so you can tackle it through directly learning. There's also a lot of things that we're thinking about in simulation where we actually have simulations that model kind of like different Earth densities. And over time, you can actually even think about modeling kind of huge diversities of properties of Earth and just making sure that you're sufficiently able to navigate.
Yeah, I mean, you could say there's resistance here. Oh, we found a large rock that's underground here that you actually have to change your strategy to remove this.
That's right. You change your strategy, you change your pressure, you do all these things. And so you can treat it as a reinforcement learning problem to some degrees. And so there's all sorts of interesting ways to kind of like isolate this out where the interesting things about these physics problems is you don't even have to like perfectly model the Earth. You just want to be able to throw a diversity of circumstances and be able to kind of like test out your system. There's also, frankly, you kind of have you have this ability where it's not like a life or death thing where you can go and you can kind of like work through it and try to kind of like figure it out and push your way through. And
so because it's not life or death, you can iterate a lot more.
You can iterate a lot more. It can take you a little bit longer to deal with like some tough challenge. You can even get remote assistance if you like really need it. So you have a lot more flexibility on how you tackle these problems where it's not this like sparse situation where everything's fine and then suddenly you have an accident, right?
That's great because we talk about man-machine.
Oh, hang on a second. There we go. Okay. The reason I wanted to show you guys that was because we're moving in this direction very quickly, and everything is actually going digital and AI. Now, whether we like it or whether we hate it, it's happening. And just like everything in life, you just have to actually deal with it. It's the reason that I want you to see this is so as this rolls out, you guys aren't like, holy shit, what's going on? Then I had a person over here in the chat, which was a great question. What does this have to do with the Bitcoin? With everything going digital, you need, basically you need a digital gold, because every system needs an equivalent system of value. Let's look at originally we had gold and silver. That system of gold and silver originated when we utilized lead, copper, all of these elements that were necessary for how we were advancing our society. So we actually based our monetary system on the elements that we were using to advance our systems. Then we switched over to oil because oil and plastic replaced the old elements, the old metals, because we relied on iron and steel and copper. And then we reached a point where the global GDP, where the majority of the products we were creating and using were actually based on oil and petroleum more than the old copper, iron, lead, shit like that. And once we made that transition, we knew that the next phase would be linking our money with that technology. Now, all of us use credit cards, right? We swipe our card, voila, we're off and running. Well, originally, the credit cards only had the little swipey thing, right? That swipey technology just held your card information. And when you swiped it, it went into a digital system. We're moving digital. Now, intelligence is going to advance the physical world. Artificial intelligence will advance the physical world. It has forever. See, the original artificial intelligence was books. Think about it. We would read the books that held the intelligence. Well, now we just listen to them. I actually do it all the time. I listen to lectures. I listen to shows. Now we hear the books. We hear the information. Well, this is going the next level, where it's artificial intelligence, except it isn't a flat artificial intelligence like a book, because the book only had a certain words in it. It explained a certain area or event or whatever. The actual book only said a certain amount of what you were reading about. Well, now we have AI, which it's the equivalent of you're reading a book, and then you ask the book, hey, what about this? And it shows you in the book what you just asked it. That's what AI is. And now we have robots. And this is where it gets interesting. I want to show you what I saw it yesterday, and I went online and I bought it. All right. And this is what I bought. Let me show you guys.
My name is Bernd, and today we're launching Neo, our humanoid for the home.
Neo, the robot, Nene.
Let you live with it.
Yeah.
You're just not telling me? Well, what does it do?
It's like my chores. I just leave and I come back and they're all done.
Are you kidding me?
No.
This all started a decade ago, working really hard on making what is Neo a reality. But to me personally, This started when I was like 10 years old. I grew up reading these beautiful books and watching these beautiful sci-fi movies where the future was all about how we as humans, we really focus on the things that matter to us. You know, Rosie the robot would be ensuring family had time, or Data would help humanity explore the galaxy. And I really hope that when you get your Neo now, we can help give you back some of that time so you can really spend it on what you feel is very meaningful to you.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. It's not warm when she's away. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone, and she's always gone too long. Anytime she goes away, I wonder this time where she's gone. I wonder if she's gonna stay. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone, and this house just ain't no home. Anytime she goes away. And I know, 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 I know.
Neo is a humanoid companion designed to transform your life at home. It combines AI and advanced hardware to help with daily chores and bring intelligence into your everyday life. Neo was engineered from the ground up for safety. Its tendon-driven body is quiet and lightweight. Its low-energy motions make it uniquely safe for you and your home. But safe doesn't mean limited. Neo's hardware comes packed with features like human-level dexterity and a 55-pound carrying capacity so that it can handle any of your chores reliably. We also worked really hard to make Neo's design friendly and comfortable to be around. Each Neo comes with a machine-washable knit suit, head, and shoes that you can customize to fit your style. As for using your Neo, we made the experience simple. Out of the box, the core of your experience is fully autonomous. The chores feature lets you schedule a time for your Neo to do all of your chores so you can come back to a cleaner home every day. With the AI companion feature, you can talk to your Neo to get assistance with anything from a hard question to a household task. With Neo's autonomy, you can get access to all of its latest AI features to get help with tasks on demand and total task. With Neo's autonomy, you can get access to all of its latest AI features to get help with tasks on demand. And the Neo app lets you interact with your Neo from anywhere. But all you have to do to get started is turn on your Neo and introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Neo. I'm here to help around the house. What's your name?
Harry.
Nice to meet you, Harry. When you have a question or want something done, just let me know.
We built the chores feature to give you your time back. You give your Neo a list of chores, you schedule a time that you want them done so that you can focus on what matters to you while your Neo does the rest. You can schedule chores by either talking to your Neo or using the app. The way it works is you schedule a time that works best for you, and then you create a list of chores. Whether it's something more specific, like watering the plants on Tuesdays, or something more general, like tidying the house, your Neo will get it done at the scheduled time. If there are any chores that your Neo hasn't learned how to do autonomously, you can use expert mode to have an expert from 1X supervise the session and provide corrective intervention to help Neo complete any task. Anytime you're away from home and you want to see what your Neo's up to, you can open the app and see directly from Neo's point of view.
can't seem to find my glasses. Is this paprika?
No, that's cayenne pepper. Also, your glasses are on your shirt.
Could I use this in my chili?
They're both made from chili peppers, and you could put cayenne in your chili, but it is much spicier.
Neo is a speech-enabled AI companion made for any kind of conversation. Where other AI assistants are confined to your phone or computer, Neo lives with you in your physical space and has the ability to see, hear, and remember things about your surrounding environment to provide you with uniquely helpful assistance. For example, it can suggest what to cook based on what you have in the fridge, remember your progress while teaching you a new language, and even give you interior design advice. The gestures and the light rings express Neo's intentions. Its audio intelligence can also pick up on whether you are addressing it or someone else in the room to decide if it should respond or not. As you might expect from a home robot, talking to Neo with natural language is the primary user interface for all of Neo's functionality, including autonomy. Your Neo comes with Redwood AI, enabling it to do basic household tasks autonomously.
Yeah. No, for sure. Okay, 1 sec. All right. Yeah. Hey, Neo! Can you get the door, please?
Neo's autonomy works by taking requests like,
Hey, Neo, can you take this cup to the sink for me?
And breaking it down into simple steps, such as walking to the person, grabbing the cup, and then walking the cup to the kitchen, and then putting it away. Neo's autonomy improves with diverse data and real-world experience. As Neo does more chores, you'll receive updates to your Redwood model that increase the complexity of tasks that Neo can handle, such as finding your keys and wallet, or doing a full laundry cycle end-to-end. Eventually, Neo will become fully autonomous, capable of helping you with anything around the house.
The Neo you get today will only get better. And as we keep shipping features, it'll be more and more useful in your everyday life. Now, the journey there is not going to be perfect, and we're not going to pretend it's going to be. But as someone who lives with Neo every day, there is no experience quite as magical. So today, we're excited to invite you in on this journey. We believe that the future will be shaped not just by us, but by all of you who believe in this as deeply as we do. Now, if this is you, pre-order your Neo today at 1x.tech.
And that is what I ordered yesterday. I'm actually going to put one of these at our club in Sarasota. Now, one of the reasons I'm actually, now mind you, I don't think I get it until 2026, but I'm reserved. I put my money down and I'm reserved. This is what I want people to realize is when it initially gets actually dropped off, it doesn't know the surrounding. It's exactly like you. If you actually went over and someone said, hey, would you watch my house for like a month? Well, sure, no problem. And you hop on there, or you're there and you're learning their house. All right, where are the dishes? How do you work this fucking dishwasher? How in the hell do I cook something? What type of microwave is this? How the hell do I do laundry? It's exactly the same thing. But as it learns the environment, it just repeats, and they're always up. Whatever other robots learn, it learns also. This is what's crazy about our future, guys. All right, at some of our clubs, we have people who I think like once a month, they actually come in and clean the whole area, I think sometimes. And that's, from what I've heard, that's about 200 a month or something like that. This, I can have it clean every day. This I can, whenever everyone leaves our club, this can actually sweep, or they can mop, or they can whatever at our clubs. That way, when we show up in the morning, everything's clean, everything's wiped down. We can even, and this is what I'm waiting for, we can even have it make coffee right before we get there. That's the important thing. I see this as just a big fucking coffee machine with legs. And this is where we are going. Another reason I'm actually, because I'm originally getting one for one club, see how it works out. And then I'll probably get one of Elon's for another club, see which one I like better. And what's crazy is these will only improve. This robot, yes, and I am actually going to name it asshole, but only for me, with voice recognition. This is the worst it will ever be. From here on out, every robot will improve. And eventually, guys, this is going to be everyday life. This is, oh, listen, I did not know this. And in Texas, he can open, carry, and actually guard your property. I don't know if that's true. I doubt it yet. That might be a joke, but I wouldn't doubt it. At our clubs, I'm not going to need a security system. He's the security system. Or she, or what, it. Look at me assuming his gender. How unliberal of me. Hey, yo, Ben, are they open source? You know, I don't know if they are. I'm not sure. Someone said, no way in hell I'm giving a robot a gun. Yeah, that's how it starts. But what I'm saying is, this is the future. Like it or hate it or whatever. You're going to see this everywhere. You are going to see them in restaurants. You're going to see these everywhere. And initially, like every other technology, just like cars, originally people saw a automobile and they're like, wow, that's weird. Look at that. Wow, that's incredible. Wow, I think I want one. Wow, I don't know if I want one. I like my horse. My horse is my best friend. Blah, 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 blah. A few years later, everyone had fucking cars. And it was no big deal anymore. These are just the new automobiles, except they're in your house. They're in our local restaurant. In 10 years, these will be normal. These will be exact. Remember the early days of cell phones? If you saw one, you were like, whoa, wow, that guy's got a lot of money. He's got a cell phone. These are $499 a month. Anyone, well, I can't say anyone, but a lot of people, they can afford that. Let's look at it as an entrepreneur. Let's say you have a restaurant. You can have your employees, until you hire more robots, you can have your employees work. And as soon as you close, they leave and have the robot wash all the dishes, clean all the tables, clean all of the floors. And it's only $4.99 a month. And you don't have to have any taxes. It doesn't bitch. It doesn't moan. It doesn't complain. Exactly. A $500 a month employee that isn't going to call out sick, that isn't going to say, oh, I can't because one of my kids has a cold and I got to do this. And it has, and I'm just going to say it, it is dramaless employees. Guys, most of the problem as an entrepreneur isn't the business. It's employee management. It's taxes. It's all this other bullshit you have to actually deal with. It isn't the business. And exactly, no made up excuses. And they don't argue with you. If you hey, Neo, could you take out our trash? Fuck you, Dad. Love you too, son. No, you don't hear none of that bullshit. It's okay. Yep. And it takes out your trash. Hey, I'm heading out here while I'm gone. Clean up the house. Okay. Or you may never have to do laundry again. It's the equivalent of in the old fucking days when we had, when you were hungry, you went out, you got some wood, you created a fire, you walked over and looked, hopefully you had relatively fresh meat, blah, blah. We replaced it with really, really dumb robots, which we call a refrigerator or an oven. We've lived with robots forever. Well, I mean, not forever, but you for a long damn time, we've replaced labor with a robot, a refrigerator, an oven, a lighter is a robot. Except all you do is flick it and it creates fire. In the old days, you used to have to rub shit together. We're going into a huge shift. And you can look at it as a negative and go, that's it. I am going Amish. Fuck this. I'm off. I'm off the grid. I'm completely done with all of this. You could do that. But that doesn't mean the world is not going to change. The world, I can remember when my dad, when I originally got a cell phone, he was like, I'll never have a cell phone, that piece of shit. He had a cell phone. My grandfather My grandfather was the exact same way. I'll never have a cell phone. Actually, I don't think Pop ever did it. No, we eventually got him a cell phone because he drove, and he had fucking Parkinson's, so he shook real bad. And we were like, no, you need a cell phone because it isn't if you hit something, it's when. And yeah, a robot doesn't need health insurance. And your robot ain't gonna sue you. We're reaching a point, and you should look at it positively. How many people here watching this, right? How many people really enjoy vacuuming? Really enjoy actually doing shit that you don't really want to do, but you eventually do it so your house isn't a shithole? What if you could wake up, or no, what if in the afternoon, especially if you have children, you're going to love this, because they could trash their room, let the robot fucking clean that shit up. I mean, it's now, mind you, does that help with your kids, or does that not help with your kids? Hey, you made the mess, you clean it up. It's going to be a learning curve, because your kids are going to use this. Your grandkids are going to use these robots. It's exactly like my dad. My dad hated cell phones. Was like, I don't want one of those. He eventually got one. Why? Because I had one. Because his grandkids had cell phones. It will normalize. That's just how humans are. Pretty soon, within at least a year, if not less, we are going to live in a world where seeing these on a daily basis not going to be a big deal at all. I mean, we have cars that drive themselves. I've seen them. Now, when I initially saw one, I'm like, whoa, that's fucking crazy. Look, there's no driver. Now I just yell at those to get the fuck out of my way. Right. I remember the hour I spent explaining the CD player to my grandma. We all remember the old joke, I can't set my fucking clock on my VCR. At least when I was young, that was every old person's problem. You went over and the clock on their VCR was flashing 12 because they didn't know how to program it or set the actual clock. This is just the next wave of technology. And the future will actually be based on the Bitcoin because it's exchange of value. It's how you hold value over a long period of time. Because guys, 401ks, for everyone listening right now, 401ks are actually based on companies that have labor, service providers. That shit's gonna change. A lot of things. Yeah, Rick, I have a friend in California that uses a self-driving car all the time. She's already used to it. Yeah, because it normalizes. And that's where we are going. We are going into, and we are in a digital world. And in a digital world, you have to have a digital gold. Because gold is not trustworthy. Because you can rehypothecate it. With the Bitcoin, you can't. It's in your wallet. You can prove you own it. That's it. And now we're evolving. Look at J.P. Morgan, the anti-Bitcoin guy. Now they'll lend you money against your friggin' Bitcoin. Do you know what that means? Think about this. Let's say you have a grandchild and you're like, I want to plan for my grandchild's future. Now, a lot of us in my generation, your house was your largest investment. It's what you'd use. If you had an emergency, you would get a home equity loan. Well, when you have a child or you have a grandchild, you can't really slowly purchase them a house for equity. But what you can do, every month you put away a little Bitcoin. Then when they reach 18 or whenever you say, they receive that Bitcoin. They don't have to sell it. They can use it as leverage, as equity, and they can actually get a loan against it for whatever they need. And which would you rather do? Slowly purchase a house for your grandkid with all the maintenance and all the bullshit, or you buy him some Bitcoin, you put it away for 18 years or however long. There's no maintenance. There's no upkeep. There isn't property tax. There isn't none of that bullshit. But yet they have an asset that in the future they can actually borrow against. This is the future, folks. And this is why on the Bitcoin Ben show, I showed you these. Because you have to realize where we're moving to, where we're at, and where we're going more. Digital. And in a digital world, you need something of value that is scarce. Because in the digital world, nothing is. If you have a digital song, you can send it to your friend and they have a digital song. And you can actually take a CD and you can copy it on to your laptop or whatever. It's digital. But it isn't limited supply. The Bitcoin is. And it's only going to get more and more attractive. Okay, everyone, have a wonderful day. I love you guys. And I will see you guys on Friday with an incredible interview. I'm interviewing someone who was recently on Tucker Carlson. I'll leave you with that. Everyone have a great day. Bye-bye. Oh, and if you want to get some of the Bitcoin, give us a call, 941-413-8080. Easy. Call us, or you can text us and just ask, how can you help me get some more Bitcoin? Loans, home equity loans, We help you sell your liver, just joking on the liver thing. Although I'm sure we could figure out something. I don't know. Give us a call, 941-413-8080, and just ask or text, how can I get more Bitcoin? Love you guys. See you guys on Friday. Bye-bye.
What if I told you a truck driver cracked the code to building a crypto empire? Meet Bitcoin Ben. He went from driving 18-wheelers to creating 6 different ways for regular people to stack Bitcoin and build wealth. This isn't just another crypto course. This is a complete ecosystem where you earn while you learn. First up, the confidential bulk purchase program. Get Bitcoin at wholesale prices through group buying power. Then there's Home to HODL. Convert your home equity directly into Bitcoin instead of cash. Need funding? The Loans for Bitcoin program gets you the capital to buy more crypto. Want passive income? Private Key Capital puts your Bitcoin to work. Hungry for something different? Bitcoin Ben's tokenized beef lets you invest in real cattle backed by blockchain technology. And if you want to mine, Bitcoin Ben's mining program gets you started with the right equipment and knowledge. But here's the kicker. Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club pays you to learn. Earn 10% on direct referrals, 5% on second level, 2% on third level. This might be the only membership where you make more than you pay. Ben went from 10 years behind the wheel to becoming the world's most unlikely crypto expert. Now he's sharing everything through live training, community events, and proven systems that work. Ready to stop watching from the sidelines? Join Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club today and start stacking sats while building your financial future. Your truck driving days are over. Your crypto empire starts now.